This video was made possible by Squarespace. Build your website for 10% off at squarespace.com/Nick Zammeti. Hey folks, welcome back to my channel shop. I'm in my shed basically. So I'm thinking about making something just out of wood today, which will be a change, I know. Back on the lathe, but making something teeny weeny tiny. Just something really small, and I mean really small. And this is all we're gonna need. This is a tiny piece of wood. I'm actually unsure as to what the wood is, as you probably gathered, but I reckon this could look quite cool. I'm thinking of a really tiny pot with a lid and a finial. Let's get this up on the lathe and see what we can do. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do is just try and figure out which side we're going to use. Just a little bit of a wonky piece of wood, but I reckon this side. So I'm going to try and find the centre of that using my little yellow centre finder. Unsure as to why they do them in yellow, but they do. There we go, little tenon on there. That will sit nicely in the chuck. And for that I use my Easy Wood Tools negative rake scraper. Now this is really cool for resin work, but you can use it on wood as well. Happy days. Right, let's take this out of here. Right, so that's much safer in there now. Give that a spin. Okay, so now we're just going to turn this around. Now that was just a little bit of skew work, and you can see the fine dust that comes off of that, and it's really quite cool if you can learn to use the skew. You know, it's a fantastic tool, it really is. Look at that, happy days. So there's going to be less sanding involved now for this piece. There's a few marks in here, so I might carry on going a little bit further in just to get a few of those out and see if we can get up with a nice smooth finish. First of all, what we need to do is, for this little miniature pot, is to take the lid off. So we need to work out how the lid's going to be. So probably just going to cut it about here-ish, because you also need to put a finial in here as well. So we'll just sort of try and finish the lid now. I'm actually thinking now I'm going to make this pot a little bit smaller actually, because it's not small enough. I want it to be tiny. Okay, so just taken the lid off, and it should sit in there quite nicely in this little ridge, hopefully. So I'm just going to clean this bit up a little bit on the sander. Don't need to do too much on that, and that's ready for the little finial that we're going to put in there. Okay, there we go. I just cleaned that up in the belt sander and then just hand sanded that down. Didn't take 2 minutes really, it's only tiny. And we don't want to mess around too much of this at the moment either, so just going to try and get that to fit inside there now. And I've got to be really careful with that, because if we make it too big it's going to wobble around everywhere. So I'm just going to take small cuts. Let's see where we go. Happy days, that fits on there quite nicely. So it's fairly tight actually, but you want it fairly tightish. So we finished the inside of the box with a little pot, and then this fits on there quite nice and snug. A little bit of a squeeze, so that's quite nice. There we go. You want it to fit fairly snug, so we could probably loosen it a little bit, but the problem is if you try and loosen it a bit more it will become too loose. So that's fairly nice. Just going to sand this back now and try and finish this pot, and then we're going to work on the finial.
They just have a cup of tea.
Okay, so this is looking quite nice. So just put some Yorkshire grit on this, and also I just want to mention that one of my Patreon members has requested just a list of all the finishes that I use. And what I'll do is I will list these down in the description for you as well, buddy. And this is a guy called Dan. So first of all, we use the cellulose chestnut sanding sealer, and this is really good stuff from Chestnut Products. You can get this pretty much anywhere really, Amazon, eBay, obviously from Chestnut website, and that just basically seals the wood up quite nicely really. You need a couple of coats of sanding sealer on there, and that sort of seals the wood basically, hence sanding sealer. After sanding. And then what I then tend to do is use the Yorkshire grit, and again you can get this pretty much anywhere as well, but you've got to sand this back first to at least 240 grit before you use the Yorkshire grit. So I've been going along with 120, I started 120, 180, 240, 320 I went on this, and then some Yorkshire grit. This is really good stuff. It's like an abrasive paste really, so a bit like it's got a bit of grit. It's got some grit in it. It definitely has got some grit in it, hence the name. And this is a really good product as well, so definitely use this. And then the final finish, you know, sometimes I use the Wood Wax 22, and this is depending upon whether you want a really good shine. Mind you, this does give a really good shine. This is also chestnut product. Maybe we'll use this on here on this product, because sometimes I do tend to use the Sheller Wax, and again this is a fantastic product as well. You can get this, well, pretty much all places as well, on the internet as well, but I'll list these products down in the description, so you can use that as a final finish. But I'm going to use the Wood Wax 22 today. But first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to find a little finial for this, only a tiny one, and then what we can do is finish that with the Wood Wax 22 and then part it off. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this now with the Wood Wax 22 first. So let's just show you this. So I'll take the lid off first. This is quite a tight fit lid. That's alright. There we go. And then what I'll do is I'll just put a bit of this, just get this out of the way, on the piece while the lathe is stopped initially. And we just put a bit inside and outside, and then I'll fire up the lathe on a slow speed, probably about sort of 4,000 revs. And then just work that in, and you'll see the nice shine that it will give anyway, this stuff. Just keep rubbing this in. And there we go, that's all we need to do really. Again, if you want it really shiny, then you would use this stuff. That will bring it up even shinier than this, but that's still, you know, that's pretty cool. I don't think we want it shinier than that anyway. So let's pop this on. Nice fit there. And then we'll put a bit on the lid. And fire up the lathe. There we go. It's a lovely piece of wood that. I'm not too sure what that wood is. I'd like to find out though. But that is a nice piece of wood. So I don't know if we can match it up around. Can we? Can you match it? It's about there, isn't it? There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? That matches now. That's a lovely piece. Glistens as well. Look, can you see that? Nice. Happy days. Right, okay, so this is ready to come off. So we're going to part this off now, and then we can just find a finial and fit that in afterwards. And sand in this bottom base. Bit of sand and sealer on it first. Bit of Yorkshire grit. And then some of the Wood Wax 22. Right, what we do is we'll mark out the centre of this so we can put in the emblem. It's looking quite nice, isn't it? Okay, so we just need a finial for this little pot. Now, do you remember we made this finial the other day for another little pot that we did? Thinking about seeing if we can chop this off and use this as well, because that might look quite nice in there. Let's see if we can get that to fit. Maybe the top piece of this, that might look quite cool. That purple kind of goes quite nice with this wood. So I'm going to chop this off if I can on the bandsaw and just see if we can make this fit into this piece. Yep, it's a tiny, weeny pot. I wanted to make something small, basically. That's pretty small. And I found the finial that we wanted to use last time. I was going to make one, but I thought, well, kind of seems silly making one when there was a perfectly good one. And this kind of works really well with the wood. Yeah, it's quite cool actually. I kind of like it. I've got my little emblem in the bottom there. And it's quite a tight fit actually. It's not so bad inside. Could do with a little bit more cleaning up in there. There's a few marks in there, but you know, it's yeah, and it fits quite nicely, and you can actually match up the wood as well. Yeah, the dark side to the light side.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
So there we go, folks. A little pot for you. Next time, I think we'll make something a little smaller, just to see if we can do it. I mean, that's pretty tiny as it is for a pot with a little finial. That's definitely the smallest pot that I've made with a little finial anyway. So maybe next time we make like a little tiny vase or something. But I think the pot has probably a little bit more purpose than a tiny vase, although I'm not too sure what I put in that. Well, I hope you like it. If you're new to this channel, you never know what you're gonna get.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Happy days. Well, thanks very much for joining me on the channel. I just want to say a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you're looking for a website or an online store, check out Squarespace. They've got an awesome all-in-one online platform for you to build an awesome online presence and to help run your business. A website is essential these days for any business. Or if you're just like me, making stuff and you want to sell it, you need a website, and these guys are just perfect. And if you're thinking that you've already got a website and a domain, don't worry. These guys can transfer your domain straight over to Squarespace. So please go and check out squarespace.com for your free trial. And once you've done everything in there and built your website and you're ready to launch, you can use my link below to get 10% off your first purchase. Or if you're looking for a domain, you get 10% off that as well. Happy days! These guys are a great sponsor to have, so please check out the link below. Plus, you'll be helping support my channel. Cheers, guys. Well, I hope you liked the project today, guys, and thank you so much for sticking with me on the channel. I know I do mix it up from time to time, and sometimes it's not everyone's cup of tea. I do a bit of restoration, and I'm conscious of the fact that it's not a restoration channel. It is more of a wood turning channel. So I am going to be doing a little bit more wood turning these days as well for you guys. Making a few bowls and pots and some vases with some added funk to it. They aren't going to be standard ones, trust me. But I do have a few things going on in the pipeline which are kind of not wood turning, but they're really funky things. And I think you're going to love them. Well, I hope so anyway. But I just want to say thanks very much for your support. Thank you to all my old subscribers, obviously, that have come over to the channel. No. Thanks to everyone that's stuck by me from day one. I really do appreciate your support. And welcome to all the new subscribers that have come over recently. Occasionally I put up some waffles, and if you're wondering what that is, that's basically me just having a bit of a chat to you guys. So if you're interested in listening to me waffle, come back on Wednesdays. Some Wednesdays anyway. Don't forget Makers Central is coming up, so if you haven't got your tickets, tickets are on sale now. Please grab a ticket. We'd love to see you at the show. So many things going on there. You're going to love it. But don't worry if you can't attend, we will be doing some live streaming and we'll be filming a lot of stuff so we can make a video for you to see and show you how it all went. Well, that's it. I'll love you and leave you. Have a fantastic weekend. Be good and stay funky.